Good morning, bună dimineața, welcome back to my channel. I am Sierra. I cannot honestly believe that we're already to the point of being through the first trimester. I thought it would be fun to sit down and film a first trimester recap and talk about all of the fun things that you experience in the first trimester. Did I have any cravings or funny stories happen? So let's get started. When I was thinking about this the other day, I can't believe that I'm due in May. It's so crazy to think that I have a literal human growing inside of my body and that I'm going to birth them and bring them into the world. It's just a crazy process. I feel like no matter how much research you do, no matter how many people you know that have kids, I feel like honestly being pregnant for the first time, you can never prepare for it. It is such a beautiful and amazing process. It feels like such a blessing to be in this season of life. One thing that I am so grateful for is that I never had morning sickness. Online, it says 70% of women actually get nausea and vomiting in the first trimester, and it can sometimes extend all the way through the end of the pregnancy. Thank the Lord Jesus, I never, ever had vomiting. I did have nausea, but it was mostly like when I thought about eating food, it just made me grossed out. The only alternative that I did get was I feel like being pregnant actually flared my IBS. My stomach was very upset because I had heartburn really bad, and heartburn definitely makes my IBS irritated. I definitely had a few moments in the first trimester where it was a SOS situation and I needed an immediate restroom or things were gonna get scary. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, what symptoms did I have? I definitely had fatigue. I can remember going to bed at 8:30 p.m., waking up at 8 a.m., and then also taking a 1 to 2 hour nap throughout the day, and just felt like I was always tired. It was not to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't function, but I just felt like so tired. I think the best way to describe it would be like jet lag. I feel like you can just never catch up on sleep. So I definitely experienced fatigue. I'm still having a little bit of that in the second trimester, but it's calmed down a lot. One thing that is absolutely hilarious is how much your boobs grow during pregnancy, which I honestly was not prepared for, because I was thinking that your boobs would only grow in the third trimester if you were breastfeeding. I am so curious where they'll end up after giving birth. Everybody is different, but I definitely did experience that, and I can't say that I'm mad. Okay, the breakouts in the first trimester have been not so fun. I really have been struggling with my skin in general over the last year because I'm switching all of my products to non-toxic. So trying to find products that actually work for my skin has been so hard. I got to a point with my skincare knowledge where I knew so much, but then when I switched to non-toxic, it was so hard to find products that didn't have all of the chemicals in it. And I'm still on that journey. In pregnancy, you definitely have to cut out a lot of stuff. I'm on a good routine. I'm gonna stick with it. I don't plan on changing my products because this is working for me right now, but I definitely experienced breakouts. One other symptom that I have that cracks me up is how out of breath you are. I remember making comments to my husband Dakota while we were on walks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not this out of shape. I'm glad looking back that it isn't just because I was so out of shape. I actually was pregnant at the time, but it's funny because even now when we go on walks, if there is a super incline hill, I will be like gasping at the top and I have to really slow down because it is just so much for me and I sound like I need an ambulance, honestly. One thing that has honestly been really hard for me is cutting out caffeine. It's not because I necessarily crave caffeine or feel like I'm having caffeine withdrawals. For me, waking up and going to a coffee shop or having like a energy drink that you love was something that I've always looked forward to. When we lived in Romania, that was my morning routine, was to go on a walk outside first thing when I woke up, and I would walk to a local coffee shop. So whenever we moved back to the US, I kind of kept that routine, which has been so comforting. And I absolutely love getting up first thing in the morning and going on a walk. That is my must. I have to do that. Recently, I've been doing some research and they say that anything over 200 milligrams of caffeine can start having harmful effects on the fetus. But then I did find out, I don't know if this is TMI, but your placenta basically will filter out some of the stuff of what you're eating, but caffeine is the one thing that does not filter. So it goes directly into the placenta and basically your baby is getting the caffeine. And for me, once I found that out, I absolutely do not want to take the risk. So I have decided to cut all caffeine out, which includes chocolate, and it's really sad. Are we going to find out the gender? I've had this question a lot, and yes, we are going to find out. I feel like honestly, it just makes that bond between you and your baby so much stronger when you can find out if it's a girl or a boy. I've already started calling the baby he. We don't know if it's a he or she. That will be kind of funny if we find out it is a girl and this whole time we've been calling it he. My husband Dakota and I have actually agreed that we do want to find out. We actually have our appointment here in a couple of weeks. So we will be finding out the gender. It makes me so giddy with excitement because I cannot wait. But I definitely do have a little tiny bump and it's so cute to actually see it because it makes it feel so much more real. Did I have any cravings in the first trimester? So this is something that you hear in pregnancy. People will have a crazy, weird craving food combinations, but I actually didn't have anything super weird. I would say in the first 4 weeks, I was obsessed with eating dill pickles. Literally the first thing I did when I would wake up every morning is eat a pickle before I ate breakfast. I was eating them for snacks throughout the day. I could not get enough of pickles. Honestly, craving pickles isn't weird for me because I've loved them my whole life. It wasn't abnormal. I have definitely been craving fruit, a lot of oranges. Oranges are like the main fruit that I crave, but it gives me heartburn so bad that I had to stop eating them completely. Also, another thing is I've been craving ice water or iced drink. I never used to be that way. I literally used to drink water room temperature. I could drink soda room temperature, but now I have to have my drinks very cold with ice in them or I don't want to drink it. The last question that I'll go over is, do I have a birth plan? I do have an idea of what I would like to happen during my birth. My vision for the last couple of years before we started trying for baby number 1 was to have a home birth, but with us being in an apartment and it being our first just kind of made me nervous because I don't know what to expect. So I have decided to do a hospital birth for the first, which I feel completely at peace with. One of the main reasons why I wanted to do a home birth is because you have full control. So I'm hoping that by being proactive in researching what is traditional in a hospital and what options do you have as a patient, I think it honestly just depends on the hospital you pick because I have heard that at some hospitals, they will like fight you tooth and nail to have it their way. I feel like honestly, I'm such a strong-headed person anyways, and if I have my mind made up and I've done research and know the reason behind why I want something, I'm definitely going to advocate for those things to happen. So honestly, I feel like complete peace with our decision. I hope that this first trimester recap was interesting for you. I am so excited to have you guys on this journey with me, and I just really appreciate you supporting me and being here with me. So thank you so much for experiencing life, learning, and growing with me, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.